Hello and welcome to another episode of Alan Writes. We're working on Lucky Gold. I've made one alteration since last time. Instead of a simple pedestrian hello that the dead king inside the artifact is going to say, the golden artifact. It is an artifact. It's not really a mask. It's an artifact. You can't wear it. It's not a mask. Olati. Which in the not a lot of. Anyway, the language that the Aztecs might have spoken, or at least a derivation of it, means corn husks. And that's certainly how he feels. She doesn't understand what it means. We're going to go on. There is going to be a bit of a language barrier until he figures out English, which isn't going to take too long. He's got a lot of free time, and he's not a bad learner, even though he's been quasi-dead for a long time. Does tend to put a crimp on things. All right. So, what we did this 6 months ago. Was it 3 months ago that we start all the 6 months ago? Yes. 6 months ago. Eventually, I am going to dispense with things when we catch up. And then, we'll be good to go. 6 months ago. Let's see. An alert at the edge of the jungle. No. I'd have waited. Held her breath. As the armed men passed below. They didn't look up, which was fine because she didn't want to look down. Sheer terror was a part of it. Another part was that the rational side of her brain, which wasn't screaming, reminded her that people identify faces at a distance far more readily than anything else. It was an old, not a habit. A habit is something you form. It was an old evolution. I wouldn't even say evolution. It was an old, the brain was wired for it. Say it. Was wired for it. To see threats. Lurking. Not that she was lurking 30 feet up in a tree, but the principle was the same. That consideration stayed with her until the men had passed by and she could breathe again. Long, heavy breaths. No. And when her heart had calmed and her hands begun to weaken, she climbed back down, and asked herself the big question. Now what? Indeed, now what? As I'm asking myself, hey, I'm 5 minutes in and my headache hasn't exploded. I'm working under somewhat dire conditions. I had, yesterday was very busy for me. Lots of meetings, lots of rewrites, lots of stuff. And this is Sunday now, and my brain is mildly functional, and I'm trying to get the most out of it while I can. This is called writing. If you only write when you like to, then you're not going to write very much. All right, so now what? Going back to the car was back to the vehicle would be useless, she realized. Armed men, military style sweeps. Yeah, they'd have gone to and be at the vehicle. And the chances that she'd be tracked if she ran were fairly small. No one did well in the jungle. No one did well in the jungle. But that also applied to her comments, to her fellows. Could she leave them? Not really. Not if she wanted to have any dignity afterward. Could she free them? Not a chance in hell. She had to signal for help, and that meant using her phone, which had no signal out here, but it did back at the ruins. She slunk back to the jungle's edge to take a look. Careful to stay in the deep cover. That was amply provided by a myriad of greens. The clearing was empty. Not a man to be seen. Had they come and gone? Well, what would have been the reason to stick around? They'd taken their prisoners, and she'd run off into the jungle. Why stay in the open? A good question. When she considered, as one she considered in depth as the sun slipped down and the shadows played long across the open expanse Still no signal. Well, fine. She'd have to go into the clearing. Not out here at the edge of things. Well, fine. She had to go into the clearing then. Go up. No, I'm not going to tip my hand like that. I know she's going to go on top of the ruins, but I'm not going to. I'm going to tell them the reader there early. It's going to be one of those things that develop or seem to. She had to go into the clearing then. When it got dark. She settled in. It was not a long wait. It was not a long wait. Darkness came early. No, it's near the equator. It doesn't care. Darkness slid into the. Filled the gaps that shadows had made. Soon enough, she couldn't see her hand except against the stars. Starlit sky. Very important I make that call back. A silhouette. A silhouette. A silhouette. A silhouette of her. All she had to do was stay down and creep in. Easy. Except for doing it. Go back to now. Now. I don't know why I said that. Daniel let Heather push him back out into the arboreum. I don't know if that's even a word. It sounds like it should be. Arboretum. Fine. Onto the arboretum. The look in her eyes was a wild one. Confused. Which didn't make much sense, given that she was only in the bedroom for a couple of minutes, if that. But you didn't argue with the money. You didn't argue with people about that. You asked the right questions, and the world opened up. Something the matter? He asked. No. She replied readily, I just wanted to get out of there and have dinner here. Yes, right here. Here, he asked. He asked. I mean, it's a lovely spot, but there are tables and, no, I'm gonna have to split that up. He asked as she began shaking her head. No. I'm hungry. Okay. Here then. Good as anywhere, I suppose, he said. I mean, I've always preferred small lunches to large. I've preferred nooks to dining rooms. Have you ever been to Versailles? What? No. Why? It felt good to hear her. That's a question. To be engaged externally and not focused on whatever had upset her. With him and not focused on whatever. All right. I'm going to pull back from a memory. Great splendor. Golden crystal. As far as the eye can see. And it's empty. Lifeless. You can you can eat there, but you really can't have a meal. You know, never been to Europe, she said, and cast an eye back toward the closed door. You'd like it. There's ever so much to see. Take a drive and you find something new. Something you find something new, something weighty, something worth exploring. My last exploration was more than expected. All right. Daniel waited for her to go on. She didn't. And before he could think of another topic to toss out the dead cat, she didn't and didn't want to. Daniel cast about for another topic to replace the dead cat that had fallen between them. Thankfully. So, where have you been? He asked, and caught her glance. Canada? Mexico? Central America? South America? Colombia? A lot. I've never been. Oh, I've never been. Is it hot and modern? She said. It's like my professor of African economics, Africa, told me. People hear the word Africa and they think about colonial times, of tribes and villages and lots of savannah. Is that how you spell savannah? Apparently. But it's really modern. It's really modern. Cities, highways. Cities, highways, electricity. Oh, listen to me. I'm doing it. I'm doing it again, too. The truth is, if you were to show someone photographs from the plains, Kansas, the cornfields of Iowa, and the barons of the Dakotas. They'd have a very different impression of America. I can see that. I can see that. Daniel agreed. Pleasantly. Because it was both true. It was true. True. Interesting. And non-frontational. If you, the far door opened, and a woman in a smartly pressed service uniform with brass buttons pushed a cart toward them. A classic room service cart toward them. The smile she wore was industry standard. But Heather all but bounced toward her. This is perfect timing, Miss Kingsley. Declared. Don't know about you, but I am starving. Okay, maybe we'll leave it there. Yeah, we did some two pages, maybe. Probably one and change. All right, so things are going on. I realize now that at some point she's going to have to dismiss him. She's going to have to miss Daniel. He gets a room in the hotel because he's exhausted and a guest of their roller. Also the accident, etc. Kingsley notes that while it is late for Heather, it is early for her, and that's all fine. Puts Heather to bed. Heather can't ask for the artifact to be moved. Doesn't trust. No, but doesn't want Miss Kingsley involved. Turns it toward the wall and tries to sleep. Do we do things with dreams? No, but on waking, she can hear the voice. Okay. All right, so that's been our little romp through here. We're working on the story. I'm not sure where it's going or what we're going to do, but it's going somewhere, and hopefully somewhere interesting. So I hope you've enjoyed this. Stay safe and take care out there, all right? Thanks.